is still a profoundly moving statement of our values. It has never been more relevant than it is now.
Wait, did the palace really just say that out loud? Moments ago, Buckingham finally broke its silence, and the nation stopped breathing. The marble halls couldn't contain the whispers any longer. In a carefully scripted statement, royal aides confirmed the thing everyone feared to even whisper. A date has been set. King Charles, the man who waited a lifetime for a crown, has reportedly chosen when to step away. No public confirmation as of now. The statement barely stretched 3 minutes, but the shockwave was seismic. Reporters froze mid-note. Pens hovered. Eyes flicked around the room like it was Judgment Day. One line in that communique sliced straight through months of speculation. His Majesty has reached a final decision regarding the timeline of his abdication. Calm on paper. Historic in reality. Veteran correspondents later admitted it felt less like a briefing, more like a turning point. For years, Charles was framed as the monarch who'd never loosen his grip. Now the palace itself had turned a rumor into a roadmap. Final. Scheduled. Real. As the doors opened, a low electrical hum filled the air. Shock, sorrow, history. Cameras zoomed on clenched jaws and glassy eyes of staff trained never to flinch. Outside the gates, the crowd grew, not to celebrate, but to understand. The date? Shrouded. But the whispers sprinted ahead of the truth. Senior reporters hinted the day wasn't random, it was symbolic, threaded to a private and public history only a handful know. Historians started playing calendar detective, accessions, anniversaries, milestones, trying to decode which page of royal memory had just been underlined. No public confirmation as of now. Then the real jolt, even senior royals were reportedly told only hours before the public. Hastily arranged calls. Abrupt briefings. This wasn't the slow, soft-gloved rollout we expect from Windsor. It was sharp. Surgical. Uncharacteristically decisive for a monarch famous for deliberation. The announcement didn't just confirm an abdication timeline, it signaled a transition already humming behind closed doors. Quiet rooms. Quiet signatures. Loud implications. The countdown had started, and the rest of us were only now hearing the clock. But why now? To understand, you have to feel the crown he chased for decades, and how heavy it became the second it landed. Behind ceremonial smiles were sleepless nights, doctors' murmurs, and family glances that said what statements never would. Every month carved the toll a bit deeper. The dream of ruling turned into a test of stamina, body, spirit, resolve. No public confirmation as of now. Inside, the shifts began long before anyone dared say abdicate. Engagements quietly delegated. William and Catherine stepping in, not as a tease, but as a rehearsal. Decisions left to trusted hands. Midnight meetings shrinking. Not neglect. Not indifference. A deep, unshakable weariness. A king looking inward, asking not about legacy, but about strength. Then, Balmoral. A private conversation with the one person who never sugarcoats, Princess Anne. Ever the steel and silk, she delivered a line that hit like an ice bath. They're preparing for a throne without you. Not a threat, a prophecy. She urged him to own the ending before someone else wrote it for him. If you don't define this moment, she said, it will define you. No public confirmation as of now. While the public saw continuity, the corridors were already pivoting. Briefings for William got longer. Catherine's diary read like a queen in waiting. Courtiers aligned, not out of betrayal, but institutional instinct. The language shifted, too, when you are king, replacing one day as if time itself had pressed fast forward. And in this silent reshuffle, another figure met her own storm, Queen Camilla. After decades clawing her way to acceptance, she now faced losing it all, not to scandal, but to time. In private, she reportedly begged Charles to delay. For her, his abdication wasn't just the end of his reign, it was the end of hers. Meetings moved without her. Decisions flowed past. Relevance receded with every tick toward the unnamed date. No public confirmation as of now. Meanwhile, the date itself was chosen like a state secret. A tiny circle. Heavy history. Advisors weighed symbolism, logistics, and emotion. Some pushed anniversaries, others, personal echoes only a king could hear. Those present described the moment the pen touched paper as reverent, like watching a chapter title being written into the national story. From that second, everything marched toward that day. A discreet task force formed. Legal language dusted off. Ceremonial choreography drawn in pencil, then ink. One rule for all involved: absolute silence. As the truth rippled inward, senior royals were told one by one. Some accepted quietly. Others stared at the floor in disbelief. Titles. Roles. Futures rearranged in a single afternoon. And then dawn broke with the public words. Britain stood still. Phones lit up. News bulletins bled into one another. For many, Charles was the background constant of a chaotic century. Now the end of his reign felt like closing a chapter in their own lives. No public confirmation as of now. Globally, statements arrived in solemn lockstep. At home, commentators parsed every syllable. This wasn't just coverage, it was history being read aloud. Downing Street kept the tone measured: honor what was, brace for what's next. Abdication in a modern age, rare, personal, staggering. Inside, the machine accelerated. Parliament briefed in whispers. The church prepared blessings. The military drilled perfection. Every clause, every seal, every footstep, calibrated to avoid a single misstep. William rehearsed oaths behind closed doors. Every gesture refined until it looked effortless and felt heavy. He was crossing the line between heir and sovereign, not someday, but soon. Catherine stood as steel-spined calm, the visible promise of continuity. For Charles, these days turned reflective. Thank yous. Regrets. Quiet looks that said the rest. Staff noticed a softness, not weakness, but the dignity of a man choosing his own ending. And then, the day. Not a coronation, but a farewell. Cameras flashed, the air felt electric and reverent. A modern sovereign stepping down, on his terms, in full view of his people. The document was read. The words were final. There was no roar, only a stillness that said we understood the gravity. William and Catherine stood at his side, the past honored, the future waiting. Camilla's eyes told the story of a chapter closing. And, unshakable, anchored the human truth beneath the pomp. Applause rose, threaded with gratitude and grief. This wasn't retreat, it was a deliberate handover, a king gifting the future before time demanded it. And as the crown prepares to rest on a new head, the echoes of his reign linger, bittersweet, brief, unforgettable. What would you have done in his place, hold on or hand over? Savage move or self-preservation for the stability of the crown? If you were William, would you push the machine forward, or slow it for your father's sake? Are you team continuity or team new era? Debate it below, no fence sitting. Important, this video discusses public speculation and commentary. These claims are unverified unless otherwise noted.